I'm William Hao Wen, and today I will bring you the presentation of the fading of the minority culture, the observation from the popular Inner Mongolian novels for the ISEC conference. So, let me first introduce to you the content of today's presentation. First, we will discuss the introduction of my research, and then the methodology of my research project, and third, the results. Fourth, the discussion of the results. So first, let me start with the introduction to my project. Let me first ask you a small question. What is Mongolian culture? You may think that the most famous person, Genghis Khan, is the representation of Mongolian culture. And a lot of you guys may even associate Mulan with the Mongolian culture. And however, they're not the kind of all about Mongolian culture. And this actually shows the status of Mongolian culture. The cultural fading is taking place in China, and it is affecting the Mongolian culture seriously. Although the Chinese government is taking a lot of policies to protect and advocate for the minority culture, the minority culture is still fading away fastly. And as a result of the fading minority culture, the loss of many craft skills and religions are actually harming the world. So, my research objective is the identification of the cause of the culture fading in China, using the structure of Orientalism, which is proposed by the Edward Said, which talks about the objectification and internal Orientalism of a culture that lead to the kind of culture fading. And I will provide evidence for this. And the 5 resources or books I used in my content analysis are A. The Believer's Last Word, a novel that depicts the end of the life of an old monk whose temple is destroyed during the Cultural Revolution. B. 大圣回商号, a novel about the business practice in later Qing dynasty and focus on the growth of one young businessman. C. Boundless Grassland, a novel that praises the revolutionary spirit and the revolutions against the KMT happened in the Inner Mongolia. D. 骏马苍狼故乡, a set of novel about the traditional belief and lives on the grassland of Inner Mongolia. E. 父亲于游而去, a short novel about the narrator having his father mysteriously turned into fish. Those 5 books will be the resources of my research, and they will serve to provide the evidence for for proving the objective. So, second, methodology. In the research, I conducted a deep content analysis. In the resources, the book selected, as I presented before, has many 3 qualities. The first quality is that those novels are published from different time periods, and specifically after the 1949, the establishment of People's Republic of China. And also, those authors are all born and raised in the Inner Mongolia province in China, and so they can actually receive and be able to pass the Mongolian cultures. And also, as we are doing the analysis of the popular Inner Mongolian novels, those novels must have high popularity in the market for them to actually show that their idea is actually received and regarded and kind of accepted by the general public. So, those 5 works that I selected all have those 3 qualities. And using the framework developed and proposed by the Northeast Wisconsin Technology College scholar, culture in this work is composed as symbol, language, norm, belief, value, and artifact. So sectors actually divide culture. And if we are to analyze these 6 sectors, we can understand which part of the culture is actually fading. For the symbol sector, I chose Tengri and the circle barrel movement. Tengri is basically the sign, or the sign of the god itself, the Mongolian god in the shamanism. And circle barrel movement is a sign of the divinity of the nature. For the Mongolians, the language I chose is the Mongolian language. And as for the norms, a lot of Mongolians have the tradition of having the picture of Genghis Khan in their homes. And also there's Nadam Fair, which is the Olympic of the Mongolians that measures the best of the physical quality of the Mongolians on the grassland. And also, this first sector will be belief. The oval worship is a worship to the god Tengri, which includes building an altar made of stone and circling it around, clockwise and counterclockwise. And the Hocha is the worship of fire. Mongolians believe that the fire is the one that brings life to the earth. And Wayu. A lot of Mongolians value the integrity, and that's actually the traditional value that are held by most of the Mongolians. And horse. Because the horse is the most important means of transportation on the grassland, a lot of Mongolians actually value horse a lot. And as for this last part, artifact, I choose Surut, which is the spirit totem of the Mongolians, and the Mauryan Khoher, which is the instrument, horse fiddle. So here's an analyzed example of the my content analysis. This example is talking about Aobao. As I claimed before, the Aobao worship, and yeah, you can see that how I done the content analysis, and you can pause here. So next, the result of my research. I gathered the data of the kind of images that are shown in the different novels. So from the analyzed example here, it is one count in the image. So here the counts together for those 5 works respectively, and the information about the work is provided in the first and the second parts. So in this part, I have analyzed the kind of existence of Tengri, circle barrel movement, Mongolian language, picture of Genghis Khan, Nadam Fair, oval worship, Hocha, integrity, horse value, Surut, and Motin Khoher in the 5 words. The believer's last word, 大圣魁商号, Boundless grassland, 骏马苍狼故乡, and 父亲约而去. You can actually see them really clearly in the table I provided. So let's move on to the discussion of those results. From the result, we can see that the short novels do not actually contain much cultures related elements compared to the longer novels. So as we can see here, like the B and C, 大圣魁商号, and the Boundless Grassland actually contains less parts or less elements. And also, the language and the rituals are more presented in the popular Inner Mongolia novels, whereas the symbol and the value components are much less presented, and the norm and artifacts are presented much lesser. And to conclusion, the culture does not have enough expectations to the public who are unfamiliar with the culture. And we can see from here, the norm and artifacts and the symbol and values are the ones that are fading a lot and need the preservation of peoples. And for the future work, I propose that I will use a more rigorous framework to help analyze. And also, I will use more publications to actually fulfill more examples And also, a comparative study between the Inner Mongolia novel and the Outer Mongolia novel will be done. And those will contribute to better research. So, thank you for listening.